to the End Time Truth Television, the channel for the lovers of truth, for the truth of the end time. So if you are a lover of truth, give us a subscription and God bless you. Shalom. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. God bless you. This video, like I titled it, is a lesson actually. I know not everybody may agree with me, but there is just something positive that I want to take from the resilience of the Ukrainians and also the imposition of Russia on these guys. You see, from what we already know about this fight and the reason why these things are there, there was something that somebody wrote, which is very, very hilarious, but I found it true. I found it to be true. And I'm going to read it to you. It's very, very sweet to look at. Yeah. So for those confused about the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, and by extension, NATO, Russia represents a polygamous husband with many wives like Ukraine, Moldova, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarusia, and the other ex-Soviet republics. In 1991, Ukraine, being the most beautiful wife, demanded a divorce from her draconian husband. Russia grudgingly allowed her, but due to his toxicity and ego, he would rather see her remain single, subservient, and dependent. As a dynamic lady, Ukraine rapidly developed herself into one of the most beautiful women after the divorce. To the charging of Russia, Ukraine, his ex-wife, becomes a center of attraction, wanted by other men, including his foe, NATO. Ukraine's pulchritude and natural endowment earned her recognition from NATO, a counterpart to Russia. The relationship between NATO and Ukraine started growing at an alarming pace, unsettling the nerves of the ex-husband, Russia. As expected of a toxic narcissist, Russia went berserk. He insisted that a relationship between Ukraine and NATO would breed conspiratorial connivance, which poses a more significant threat to the masculinity and ego of Russia. NATO, a polygamist like Russia, is a liberal. His wives include the UK, US, Greece, Germany, Spain, and many more. To NATO, the addition of Ukraine to his fleet of wives makes him more powerful and gives him an upper hand ahead of Russia. To Russia, NATO and Ukraine's marriage poses a grandiose threat to his territory. Therefore, he is committed to ensuring the relationship never happens. In his quest to truncate this relationship, Russia wants to reconstitute his past relationship. He is a nationalist, a fascist, in the mode of Adolf Hitler. As a result of this, he abruptly burst into his unsuspecting ex-wife's house a few days ago. The unwanted guest is currently holding her hostage, surrounding her house with hundreds of dungarees. Okay, so let me not just continue this. It's just that briefly or compactly explains what is happening in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. Now, Russia, doesn't want Ukraine to be free. Russia doesn't want Ukraine to have an external relationship between her and other countries. You see, and that is where the false teachers and false prophets come in. Sometimes you will hear something like, if you leave this ministry, you will die. If you listen to another preacher, you are not a good follower. Something like, if you are listening to, just things that will just keep you within the enclave and not opening your eyes to other reality. Now, this is the antics of the false prophets. I'd like you to listen to this video.
Long life, Ukrainian heroes. Today we have the 5th day of Russia's full-scale war against the people of Ukraine. We stand firm. During this time, we have experienced as much as other nations may not have lived in decades. For a long time, we have been told that Ukrainians aren't the right kind anyway, are improper, have to perform so-called homework for decades. That is why we often didn't notice our real capabilities. And now we have proven ourselves. And it's inspiring. Everyone. In every conversation with our partners, I hear sincere respect. Ukrainians have shown the world who we really are, and Russia has shown what it has become. Just think about it. During the Russian invasion, in just 4 days, 16 Ukrainian children died as a result of Russian shelling. 16. 45 children were injured. Every crime, every shelling that the occupiers commit against us unites us and our partners. Russia didn't believe in such a solidary and powerful reaction, but Ukrainians have changed that story. The European Union has decided to supply us with weapons. We are grateful. Yesterday I spoke with Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, about further, even stronger steps. Europeans are aware that our soldiers are fighting for our country and, consequently, for the whole of Europe. For peace, for all European countries, for the lives of children, for equality, for democracy. And this gives us the full right to do the following. We appeal to the European Union for Ukraine's immediate accession under a new special procedure. We are grateful to our partners for being with us, but our goal is to be with all Europeans now, and most importantly, to be equal. I'm sure that's fair. I'm sure we deserve it. I'm sure that all this is possible. Yesterday I spoke with the presidents of Portugal, Lithuania, France and Poland. I'm especially grateful to Andrzej Duda for our fruitful cooperation. I spoke with the Prime Minister of Belgium, Spain and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson. Support from our anti-war coalition is unconditional and unprecedented. Europe has closed the sky to all Russian planes. Global business is renouncing any ties to Russian companies. Let's see how this week will end for the Russian currency at the fall of the ruble. As long as the criminal invasion in Ukraine continues, the Russian state is suffering as if the hostilities are taking place on their territory. Why all this to you? Russian mothers, Russian teachers, Russian entrepreneurs, just ordinary people. For what? 4,500 Russian soldiers have already been killed. Why did you all come here? Why all the military convoys targeting us? Why do they come from our Crimea, from our Yalta, Yevpatoria, Sudak, Simferopol? These are not the names of military camps for tank men. Once again, 4,500 Russian occupiers are killed. Throw away your equipment and go away. Don't trust your commanders. Don't trust your propagandists. Just save your lives. Just go away. We dedicate every hour to strengthening our state. Anyone who can join the fight against invaders must do it. Therefore, a decision was made, not easy from a moral point of view, but useful from the point of view of our protection. Under martial law, participants in hostilities, Ukrainians with real combat experience, will be released from custody and will be able to compensate their guilt in the hottest spots of war. We cancel sanctions for some anti-terrorist operation veterans. Defense is now the key point. When I became the president, I said that each of us is the president because we are all responsible for our state, for our beautiful Ukraine. And now it has happened that each of us is a warrior. The warrior is in place, and I am confident that each of us will win.
Слава Україні!
So, to me here, Roche is that false prophet that would want to impose himself on a person, on people, on individuals, on a group of people by using intimidation, telling them any day you leave, any day you depart from this place, something terrible will happen to you. Any day you want to be free, any day you eventually want to leave this assembly and join another assembly, know it that something terrible will happen to you. You will die, your business will collapse, or something evil will happen to you. That is witchcraft, and that is what many false prophets have come to master. I understand that there are some pastors or teachers or preachers who, out of concern, believes that they have the monopoly of knowledge and they are custodian of truth, and so that they want to kind of tell you that, or feel that if you leave them, you're not listening to their teaching again, then you are listening to other people's teaching, that you may be contaminated. If actually ever you have the Holy Spirit, I want to believe that the Spirit of God within you should be able to teach you all things. But there are those that are using this in order to keep you perpetually under them, in order for them to milk you. Have I told you about the topic that somebody preached in my former church? And guess what he titled it? Milking the cow. Milking the cow. Now he had a rider, a follow-up. That follow-up said, because if you don't milk the cow will die with the milk. Now guess who the cows are? Me and the rest of the congregations. We are the cows. And what is the milk? Our pocket. Now milking is getting enough from us, and dying means that if you don't milk us enough, we can take our milk, our pocket, our money to go to other ministry. So it becomes an ambition for them to milk you before you ever leave them. Now, that comes to the good things I have to say about Ukraine and their leader. Now, they have been under the fear of this tyrant. Ukraine have decided, let us slug this out at least. If we are dying, the world would have heard our voice that we wanted to be free. But this Lord of Manor, this Lord of Man has kept us, down. And so I salute the brevity of the Ukraine president. Many people, says he's a man that dances from left to right. But at least, even if for these 5 days, a lot of people have died, and that is the consequences of war. There is no place that war is fought that ever remains the same. And actually, the nation, the capital of Ukraine, as it is, where the battle is raging now, will not be the same. It will take a longer time for the ruins to be, rebuilt. Now, but the thing is that he has actually been able to stand up to a false prophet. Now, I am likening you as the Ukrainians. You may have been under the teaching of a false prophet, and he has used intimidation to hold you down for a very long time. Even when you have discovered, now that with the benefit of hindsight and the knowledge that you have had, that this is not the right place for you, but you are living under the fear of, if I go, I may die. If I leave, my business may collapse. If I leave, my child, my wife, or anybody around me may die. Listen to me. That is not true. God is God everywhere. Are you a child of God? The protection of God is over you. Mind you that this is not me trying to encourage you against your spiritual father. That is not what I'm out here to do. But if you have the Spirit of God, and the Spirit of God has convinced you that the place you are is not the right place for you. Now, what you need to do is pray to the Lord and believe. God will protect you. He will keep you. Even if there is a witchcraft system in the place where you have been under, and there is an automated, diabolism that has been there, that immediately anybody leaves, that will be activated to work against the person, leave, and it shall not work against you. Listen, it shall not work against you. Now, sometimes they will tell you, don't join, don't go. Listen, there are sometimes some other ministers may come around near you to do a program, and these are proven men of God, children of God. Now, your own false prophet will also plan and arrange a program to coincide with that same program, because they don't want you to leave. They don't want you to go and hear something else. If anybody is asking you to read his books alone, listen to his tapes alone, you should not listen to others. I want you to know that that person is denying you the freedom that you deserve. There is nobody under the sun that is a Mr. Know-it-all. God gives individuals grace according as he, God, has determined and decided. And there is no way any man can have the grace of all knowledge embedded in one. No, nobody is like Jesus when it comes to that aspect of grace. Jesus was an embodiment of all things. Now, but we are members of his body. So the grace that your pastor has, there is a place that another person serving the same God is better than your pastor. So knowledge acquired and applied with understanding makes you wise. When you apply the knowledge you acquired with perfect understanding, then that is when you are called a wise person. Listen, beyond being under the lordship of a false prophet, you may be facing some challenges in life, and God is expecting you to say, no, I accept it no more. I have come to that point where I have to react and act like Esther. If I perish, I perish. Now, it is interesting for you to know that nobody has ever taken that step that had ever perished. Now, the Ukrainian president, he may not be at the war front, but at least he is becoming a voice behind the soldiers that are fighting the war. Now, they look around and they see their president, that he is still in the town and he has not escaped. Just like some false prophets will always elope at the slightest, rumor of turbulence in your environment. They will elope. They will run away with their families and they will leave you at the mercies of eventualities. Now, they don't care, but they want you to think that they will die for you. Bushiri told his people, it is a knowledge the Spirit of God has revealed to me that I will be taken to prison, blah, 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 blah. But because of you people, I will not run. I will stay here. What eventually happened? He ran. He left them. He left them. But unlike our false prophets, this man has stood his ground and he is counting 5 days. And he is here encouraging his people. People have died, unfortunately, but that is the price of war. And we pray that reason will prevail soon. But I just want to take the positives from this incident that is happening, unfortunately, between Russia and Ukraine. And we hope that it doesn't snowball into the Third World War. God bless you. Let's know what you think about the video. Put down your comment in the comment section. And please like the video, share the link, and subscribe to us if you have not done so before. God bless you. I'll be seeing you in the next video shortly. Until then, from me to you, shalom.